Hooray! We're finally on the 300th episode, and the volume 3 for this was a long time coming. And don't ask for part 4 because this is probably the last one I'm gonna do. So let's jump right into this, starting with the Red Lanterns, in which represent rage, and obviously I want to avoid using Hulk related characters because they are just easy pickings. And as I was thinking outside of the box, I ultimately went with Namor, because when you really think about it, Namor is an incredibly aggressive character. Not to mention he's pretty arrogant and is incredibly brutal. And because Namor is always ever so strong physically, and the fact that he's always so pissed off, it only makes sense for him to be a Red Lantern. Next we have the Orange Lanterns, in which represent greed, and again, like I said multiple times, all of the Marvel villains could easily fit that role. However, personally, out of all of the Marvel villains, I think the Kingpin would easily take that cake. All the Kingpin really wants in life is pretty much control, money, and power. Wilson Fisk would go through any lengths in order to claim anything as his own. And plus, the Orange Lanterns are often seen as a force to be reckoned with, and Wilson Fisk for the most part certainly fulfills that role. And the more power the Kingpin gains, the more he craves, which is why I personally believe that he would make a perfect Orange Lantern. Now we get to the Yellow Lanterns, in which represent fear, and there's really no contest with this, and I'm sorry to be predictable, but I have to give this to the Punisher. The Punisher is often portrayed as one of the most feared characters in the Marvel Universe, and Frank certainly uses fear as a weapon, because both heroes and villains alike wouldn't even dare to go up against the Punisher. And to all of the common thugs, the Punisher is often seen as the boogeyman, and with the Punisher's reputation as the boogeyman, there's really no reason why he shouldn't be a Yellow Lantern. Next we get to the Green Lanterns, in which represents will, and I'm surprised barely anyone ever brings this character up, but I have to give this to the Thing. And out of all of the Marvel heroes, Ben Grimm is probably the one who has the strongest willpower. And despite how many people believe Ben Grimm to be a monster purely because of his physical appearance, that doesn't even stop him from doing the right thing and being a hero. And plus, whenever he's in a fight, he will never back down until he is knocked out cold. And even if he's stripped from his powers, he would still never back down. And honestly, the Thing perfectly embodies a Green Lantern. Next we get to the Blue Lanterns, in which represent hope. And for this one I have a really interesting choice, as I thought of Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is often seen as the inspiration for the X-Men, because unlike most characters, Nightcrawler never gives up hope. And whenever people feel down, Nightcrawler is always the one who puts them back on their feet. And is always the one who tells them that there's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel. And this could also be reflected on his religious beliefs. And for these reasons, I personally believe that Nightcrawler would be a very good Blue Lantern. Now we get to the Indigo Lanterns, in which represent compassion. Now this one was rather difficult to think of, but ultimately I decided to go with Storm, because Storm is always one of these characters who is there for the people. Not to mention that Storm is also one of these characters who doesn't really believe in violence and wouldn't do so unless it's absolutely necessary. And in a similar fashion to Professor X, Storm always believes that there's always a better way for pretty much all parties. And honestly, an Indigo Lantern would be perfect for Storm. And now we get to the Violet Lanterns, in which represent love. Now every time I do one of these, it's always the Violet Lanterns that are the most difficult to pick. And the best I could think of is the Wasp, because again, she rarely cares about her people and always expresses her love. And plus, she's a very passionate character, and out of all of the characters who could fulfill a Violet Lantern, I can honestly see it being the Wasp. Next we get to the Black Lanterns, in which represent death. And I've got a really good pick for this one, as I thought of Blackheart. Because Blackheart is an extremely powerful demon who always takes people's souls. Not to mention that Blackheart probably has one of the highest kill counts in the Marvel Universe, as Blackheart has been taking people's lives through thousands of years. And many people believe that Blackheart is debatably even worse than Mephisto, who is the devil himself. And personally, Blackheart being the Black Lantern is very well deserved. And finally, we get to the White Lanterns, in which represent life. And for this one, I have to give this to the Beyonder, because in his strange way, the Beyonder actually embodies his own life. He enjoys what he does and he wants to have fun. And it also does help that the Beyonder does embody all of the emotions in the spectrum, which does favour my point in that the Beyonder would make an amazing White Lantern. So do you agree with any of my picks? And which Marvel characters do you personally believe deserve Lantern rings? Comment below and share some thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video, please like and subscribe, take care and have a good one.